The US led war in Iraq killed millions of people and destabilized the country, throwing them into a state of chaos where warlords were fighting in the power vacuum that was created. The US promised to bring freedom to Iraq and combat terrorism, but all they did was unleash more terrorism, leading to the creation of groups like ISIS. Many people think that the Iraq War was a mistake. George Bush and Dick Cheney wanted to bring freedom to the Iraqis, it just didn't work out. But that's not the case. The US State Department officials who lied us into the Iraq War weren't delusional. They knew that they weren't bringing freedom to Iraq. But that wasn't their goal. Their goal wasn't actually to combat terrorism, it was to get access to Iraq's resources. They wanted to make money for big oil corporations and the military-industrial complex. All the stuff about fighting terrorism and finding weapons of mass destruction was just a ruse. It was a trick from the beginning. And while the war was a failure from the perspective of bringing freedom to Iraq, it was a success from the perspective of weapons manufacturers and giant oil companies. After the invasion toppled the Iraqi government, they were induced with what academics have called shock therapy. This is when massive amounts of Iraqi companies are privatized and essentially just handed over to multinational corporations. Additionally, Iraqi banks were handed over to foreign investors and tariffs were done away with so that multinational corporations could export goods out of Iraq for cheap. This led to massive unemployment and almost the complete destruction of small business and small producers in the Iraqi economy, allowing all of their resources to just be pillaged by foreign multinational corporations as their country was being decimated by the US military and the British military and their allies. So yeah, the war wasn't a mistake. They got what they wanted from the start. When these guys start talking about freedom and democracy, they're trying to trick you into supporting something that's actually in their economic interest.